then girlfriend, who's not my wife, she'll come over, she'll clean the house, arrange my room, do my laundry, everything set up and everything, and she'll do that, willingly, right? Because I was taking care of every other thing else. Like, yo, you're having a soft life. This is the bare minimum you can do for me.
Yeah.
So I brought that mentality here.
Newcomers, real stories, no filter.
And zero survival guides. We're figuring it out as we go.
I remain my humble self, TundeTASH.
And I go by the name FemiShine, your favorite biker boy in the six.
And this is
Now That We're
We
Here.
Are Here.
Now let's get into it. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Now That We're Here. I go by the name FemiShine, and of course, in the house with me is TundeTASH. We will be diving into, the traditional man versus the modern man.
Yeah.
The change that happened, moving from Nigeria to Canada, the expectations that, we had as, young men going into marriage back home, and the reality of what's on ground that we're currently experiencing in Canada here. We are both married, so we can give you, first-hand experiences, particularly knowing that in the news lately, there's been a lot of crashed marriages because expectations are not being met. So we'll be giving our undiluted views. I believe it's going to be raw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree. Yeah.
Sharing what we've seen, what has changed, and giving tips on how to navigate that space. So I'll toss a question to you to set the tone for the conversation. What were your expectations when as a Nigerian man? Can I say you were a traditional man, right?
Well, yeah, to an extent.
Right, and about what marriage would be and what the roles are, and then when you moved here, what has changed, if anything at all?
Thank you, Femi, and hello everyone. Really good to be here again on another episode of Now That We Are Here. Again, I remain Tunde Omotoye, like Femi said, aka TundeTASH. So thanks for that question, Femi. So for me, before coming to Canada, right, like you rightly said, we had the iota of being a traditional man, right, before coming here. And what that meant was you provide, you have a wife, right, who will sort of cook for you, take care of the kids and whatnot. And this is not something we are sort of proud of, or we think that's how it should be or anything, right? But it's just how we were also brought up, right? That was what the society, that was what we saw firsthand. I know for me very well, one thing I always thought, or one thing I always believed that I always argued about, was that when I get married, I can't eat any food that has been stored in the fridge, right, or the freezer, right? I always used to say, for instance, like beans now is my best food. I would say, hey, like, why would I eat beans that they brought out from the freezer? It's not possible. It has to be freshly cooked, right? But I think one thing that changed my mindset was when I came here alone, right? As an international student, I had to sort of navigate the system myself, and I saw how I would work, how I would sort of have to cook during weekends to store food for the rest of the week, right? So that sort of gave me that orientation that, wait, when I get married and, we're both working class and all that, do I expect the person to be, sort of also stressing to cook for me every other day? That, I don't think is sustainable. Even for me as a person, it wasn't sustainable for me, right? And that was the defining moment where I was like, you know what, I have to adjust to a lot of things, right? And see, freezer food tastes very sweet.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, the sweetest even, right? And and there are a lot of other things like that. You find people come to this country, even if you look at it in the corporate space, where you are catching a train and you're finding your boss, in the same train ride as yourself. Right? Like there's really no oga, like the power gap is not that much, right? It's sort of a little bit close, right? So how about you? What was like your own well, I know you are a very traditional man anyway, so.
I used to be a traditional man.
Okay.
And I like to own it. Yeah, I like to own it because it's what I was raised in. I grew up, my dad never went into the kitchen.
Wow.
As a professional himself, when he comes home, like 7 p.m., it doesn't go into the kitchen. My mom's role at that time was to bring fresh food. And then they'll serve him, we'll eat, and then I understood that perspective. Now that I'm older, that while he was working hard, laboring, my mom was a stay-at-home mom, which is a lot of work in itself.
Yeah.
But because it was delivering on the expectations that as the head of the home,
Yeah.
my mom had to cover the home base. And I had that mentality growing up that no, I'm not going into the kitchen. I'm gonna sit down. You're gonna serve me in those traditional plates. There will be rice, then there'll be stew, and then fruits and water. And my wife will come and serve me, water to wash my hands and all of those things. So I grew up with that mentality, and even into my adult years, my then girlfriend, who's not my wife, she'll come over, she'll clean the house, arrange my room, do my laundry, everything set up and everything, and she'll do that, willingly, right? Because I was taking care of every other thing else. Like, you're having a soft life. This is the bare minimum you can do for me. Yeah. So I brought that mentality here. When I arrived here, it's not like I don't know. I'm a great cook. My mom is from Akwa Ibom. I can cook. Nice. So I used to cook for myself. I even taught how to cook back home. But I had the expectations that when she became my wife, she'll continue doing those things. Yeah. It will we would just continue. Yeah. And then we had a lot of, I think in our early days, we had a lot of clashes because, I threw her into the corporate space, start working. And I still had those expectations that, where's the food? Even while you're working, Yeah, she's working, I'm working. I'm like, where's the food? Because I felt like all those years that I stayed alone before she joined me, that also for food is over. My wife is here now. There has to be a meal on the table and all of that. And then we used to clash a lot because she would be exhausted, I'll be exhausted, and it would lead to a lot of arguments. I think I've shared this story. We hate doing the dishes, both of us. Wow. And we would just leave dishes in the sink. Wow. And then we'll start arguing like we're teenagers, who's supposed to do the dishes and all of those things. And then, those minor little conflicts used to arise. And then we said to ourselves, any house that we move to has to have a dishwasher. So we don't want to start arguing about dishes anymore and all of those things. And then I had to adjust, right? And, for the success of the marriage, as a man, I feel like when push comes to shove, I should not be so set in my ways that I can't, learn, unlearn and learn new things. Because, at the end of the day, you want your spouse to be happy. Yep. So I stepped in. I'm like, okay, this is what it is now. I have to start doing this thing. So I, started doing things on my own. And then the kids came, and that's in its own a different phrase entirely. Because the person that you dated, your girlfriend, is different from the person that you married. Exactly. Now, that person that you married is different from the mother of your children. Those are two personalities that happen at the same time. Yeah. And those are new experiences that she has never experienced before. And that you have to also understand, unlearn some things. Unlearn some things. One thing I like to suggest is that people should be part of the childbirth, the delivery itself, be in the delivery room. Because what happened to me, witnessing that process is that my mentality changed. I realized that I have to be actively involved in this. And so I do give myself the grace that sometimes I can be, I can fail. Okay. I not do what I'm expected to do. And I give my partner that grace as well, right? In the marriage, that she's not perfect, I'm not. And we're just learning how to be parents for the first time. It's not something anybody has done. Even being a wife or husband, none of us has done it before. There's no playbook, and there's not like there's a playbook. There's no templates, right? Yeah. So, and then we're in a foreign land where, we can only get our parents, advice and everything is on the phone. We can't go for a meeting to resolve issues. So we have to resolve it in that bedroom and talk about it, right? So when the kids started arriving, hands-on, right? I leaned into the process because now it's a new phase, in my life, and I want to be able to document that mentally, that I was there. I did this, I wake up first, get the kids ready. You can't see daddy's absence, right? That record is squeaky clean. So, but I do understand that, and I ask women for that grace to let us transition. We grew up with this. We were born society showed us this, culturally supported it. Yeah. And then you're looking at men who are set in their ways. The transition is not going to happen overnight. Right? So give us the grace, we will upset you, especially when there's a shift in, the power play. Back home, we're talking. Like when the men are talking, the men are talking, right? But over here, when the men are talking, the women too have to talk. They have to say something. They have to be a part of the conversation, right? So and a lot of us are not used to that. So because for every change, I think there's always a pushback. I think it's in change management or there's
Or
something.
terminology.
People are
Yeah, there's
adverse
always
to
yeah,
change.
exactly,
Yeah. So
exactly.
when you see,
Change is not an easy thing, right? In
yes,
the workplace, we
absolutely.
even see that. How
Yeah,
much more in the
absolutely.
home,
In the home,
right?
right?
Yeah,
So I asked for the grace, like, if you're coming from Nigeria and you're moving your family here, have those kind of discussions, have honest discussions about
discussions.
these
Yeah.
things, especially if it's a man that you've been doing these things for, right? Even if you were both working, but you were the one typically doing those things, have those discussions before you get on that plane.
That's true.
Because if you do not, your marriage will tend,
Yeah.
high chances your marriage is crash.
True,
Right.
true. I totally agree with you. Because it's a different ball game here. The society is different, right?
Absolutely.
There's this priority list that people always talk about. In this part of the world, women come first, right?
100%.
So and we have to be able to listen. So I respect men who have come from our part of the world and have been able to unlearn some things. Because
Absolutely.
the truth is, if you need to thrive in a place like this, and if you also want your home to thrive, you have to unlearn certain things. Let's be honest with ourselves, right? We
Right.
have to unlearn certain things. And something I did notice when I first got here was when I was in Kitchener, the city of Kitchener. There are a lot of Sudanese there, right? And I might be wrong, but a lot of the ones that I met, they were married before they got here, and then all of a sudden you just realize that they were not together anymore, right? And there's a lot of dynamics. There's a lot of circumstances that you can definitely look into it. For many of them were Muslims, right? And traditionally, typically you would have the man as head of the house,
That's
and
right.
it's like there's that order, right? But it seems many of them came here and they saw that okay, there's a power play shift where they
100%.
also had they could have a voice, right? And perhaps maybe those were the things that led to those homes breaking apart. I'm not sure, right? Could be something else, but unlearning some things and understanding what this environment also sort of entails, is really helpful as well for many men, especially when both of you are also like friends and you can kind of
Have this
banter about
conversation.
some
Yeah,
things as
yeah,
well, right? Like you
100%.
can banter about some things, you can
100%.
talk about some things. I think it's really helpful, right?
And then if we can look at it from the perspective of ego, I think it's part of the man's personality to have this larger than life ego as the provider. So you are idolized back home.
Yeah.
You bring the money home, and
But historically, the men have been like that.
yes, we have been like
From
that
back then, from
yeah,
cavemen,
exactly. So
yeah.
it's part of our DNA to have that mindset. So when we come here, our ego is not being massaged because now we're getting our spouses into the workforce, because definitely one person cannot run a home in Canada.
exactly.
Like, everybody needs to
Exactly.
earn. So when that dynamics changes, and from a woman that's maybe didn't really necessarily used to pay for anything from back home, gets into that space, and now your own ego is being attacked because she doesn't see you as the Lord and Savior anymore because she's bringing
equally.
yeah,
Man, both,
yeah. So now you're on the same.
working for money.
Yeah. So
supporting the home.
it's easy for that power trip to occur, in the sense that, listen, we both went to work. Go fix yourself something to eat. And personally, even my own self, looking at my day to day, there are no situations. It's rare for me to say I'm demanding something, right? If it's something I can do myself, I'll just go do it. Because I put myself in the perspective. If I go disturb this person, what's the point? I can just make my own food. Thank God I know how to cook and I know how to clean for myself and all of those things. So I get into those spaces and I do them. But the ego part is that men need to be able to, like, listen, this is not how it is anymore. Massage your ego, bring it down. Your wife earns now. And then the same amount of effort you're putting in the workplace, she's bringing the bread home, then change the dynamics so that your home can thrive.
True.
One big talking point that I'll let you lead on is finances.
But
Because I've seen situations where some social media handles that I do follow, where they people send their real life stories. I used to earn, my husband is doing 50-50, my husband is doing 100%, my husband is demanding money and all of those things. What works? I mean, it's relative to everybody's individual
people are different, right? But what I know is it's going to be a team. It has to be like a team work, right? Where if you want to save, you both have to understand your finances.
100%.
This is not part of this world there's nothing like, oh, she doesn't know what I'm earning or she doesn't know what I'm
100%,
worth,
yeah.
right? Like both of you have to sit down and put your cards on the table and say, okay, this is where we are. This is what we can do. This is what we should both put aside. I remember very well when we started, when we had just recently gotten married, we were living Midtown, and she was working, I was working, and when we get paid and all that, the money was coming in, and we'll go shopping.
Go shop. There you go. There you go.
We'll go shopping, right? And at a point, I remember very well, and thankfully she's like the financial advisor, and then I also will sort of follow that lead, and then we sort of come together and do things. And there was somebody who had advised that, hey, you know what you do? Like, both of you are coming together, spend one salary, save the other, right? That was how we were able to buy our first home.
Same thing.
Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
And then we did it early, right? So that sort of helps. And it's a thing where we also have joint accounts, right? In some homes, they don't do that, where they still maintain that individualistic, finance structure and all that. But we sort of just came together and we just have one, and, it's transparent and things like that. For some, again, the struggle, like I said, it's different homes, different style, but you have to still come together as a team, right? And be transparent with each other. Like one thing that also makes people struggle a lot from back home is that lack of transparency, where the man might actually be going through a lot. The woman doesn't know, and he's taking it out on the families, taking it out on the people that are closer to him. Why? Because either he's deepened his finances, there's not so much money, or contracts aren't coming in and the woman isn't aware.
That's where the ego comes into play, because you don't want to share that you're going through that difficult times.
But here, like, you have to be transparent,
100%.
right? Like, that transparency really helps, and your partner will be there to support and say, okay, this is what we can do. These are the things we can cut off.
Our numbers are,
right? This is where we are, right? So what can we do to actually ensure that we are, we maintain that, and we have our head above the waters, right, so to speak. So finances, I would say, transparency, very important, and coming together to do teamwork.
For me, in the financial aspect, it's more of not repeating past mistakes. So I look back at what my dad did, because rest his soul.
Amen.
He did not share his finances with his wife, with my mom, right? In the fact that, intertribal marriage, my dad is Ondo, my mom's Akwa Ibom, so
shout out to
Ondo and Akwa Ibom people. So what I did notice was, when my dad passed away, we didn't know where his money and his wealth, we didn't know where things were.
Wow.
Because he didn't share them.
Wow.
Right? And I understand where he was coming from, in the sense that he was taught to keep certain things private. So when he passed away, we knew he had resources, we just didn't know where they were.
Wow.
Right? So we had to go through that entire suffering phase that could have been avoided if he was very transparent with his wife. I mean, this woman has children for you. Right? So I made up my mind that whoever I do get to marry, I must trust you enough. Because I plan to tell you everything. Right? So that was very key for me in choosing a life partner. So when we got into marriage, during the dating phase, I didn't share because we're dating, right? Yeah. So but she knew my worth. But when she moved here, right, and a big shout out to one of our tax advisor, I believe. When I filed my first taxes, the man has been here since the 70s.
Okay.
Because he has been filing my taxes as a student. So when my partner came, the numbers changed. And he looked at us and said, for this man to succeed here, it's on you. That was I just said, sir, this is my wife. Oh, good afternoon, sir. I said, okay. He just looked at her and said, for this man to succeed, you literally said, you will be the air under his wings. So if there's no air under his wing, it will crash. And I think that stuck with her. Because when we're now doing numbers, and then she saw my numbers were, and then you're like, you had all these numbers and you were still sending money home. You are supposed to be paying your debt. Right? And then we grew into this mindset that we'll bring whatever we make to the table. Any offer letter, we bring it to the table. This is what we're making. This is what the bills are. It's income versus bills. We'll make sure the bills are wiped off from the combined income. Whatever is left, put into the kids' funds, put into our retirement funds. Everybody then have pocket money to do whatever you want to do. Do whatever, it's your money now. So we had that mindset, and I said, this is how I want to run my home. Right? And she bought into the vision, because it can't exist without our support, right? And because as you said, in getting the home, that she just came on one day and said, wait, we're actually making money. Where is this money going to? Yeah, I'm like, well, I don't know. Yeah. And just like, okay, you take care of all the bills so we can have a clear vision of what you make in a year.
Okay.
We will not touch your own money. That's my wife's money. We don't touch that. pay all the bills from my own income.
Nice.
Right now, look at what we're fighting. We're fighting against foundational, things that it's not supposed to happen. So my ego, I brought my ego down. I said, listen, I'll pay all the bills to the last dots. Let's have a full picture of what you make in a year after taxes. So we will know that we can now go into the house, and get something. So we did that, right? And she's been a blessing.
Nice.
In terms of, I'm a spendthrift.
Thank God.
I am a spendthrift. I'm
men
a spendthrift in the house. And when the girl comes, I want this, and then she just checks all of that. Say, hey, gotta cop this. This is not Lagos. This is not Nigeria. If we fail here, nobody's sending us money. Nobody. We don't have any backup. So we gotta be very strategic. And I give her props for that. So that's how you can leverage your experiences, and try and make sure you put your family first. I do tell my wife, I say, if I had money, if I die, if you don't know, the government will put it in a trust and give to other people.
Yeah, that's
right?
true.
Why would I let my children suffer?
Yeah, exactly.
And two, there are situations where you hear, oh, my wife built a home, a house. It didn't tell. I'm like, okay, if you build the house, you didn't tell me. If you die, what will happen to the house? Are you taking it with you?
Yeah.
Your kids are going to inherit it. So all my wealth is for you and the children. I'm not taking anything to the grave. So why am I hiding?
Yeah.
But I understand people that are still stuck that way. They were raised that way. And, they will struggle here. Yeah. They will struggle.
You mentioned something that sort of, just on the side though, talking about sending money at home and all that. When I was, because we are talking about the dynamics of husband, wife. My girlfriend was back home. I was a struggling student. I was still managing to send 5K. Right. So when she came, she still yabs me till date that ordinary 5K is what you are sending. Now look at the exchange rate. I'm like, do you know the sweat?
The sweat.
I did to send those 5K every time, man. Now and then.
Mine was I think 100. But so I used to get paid every week. Yeah, the job I was in, I used to get paid every week. So it's dedicated every week $100 to go home.
Oh, wow.
Right now, see how I got it back. She spent all the money back. So when she got her visa, I'm like, hey, got visa, how far now? Look, you're buying ticket too. Because I knew I had access to a bank account. I knew what was in there. Like sometimes you go to the island to buy stuff and I'll be receiving a lot in her email because I had access to the email. And I'll call her, but where are you? She said, I know I'm at home. I said, no, you're not at home. You've just withdrawn 150,000. What are you buying? I said, well, Shebi, you give me money next week. And I'm like, okay. So when she came and saw the hard work and, she was able to appreciate the effort that I've been putting in supporting her. She said that 5K, it's a big amount of money because she worked hard to raise that 5K. And
exactly.
When she started working, I said, okay, Zara bag, do you want to buy? She said, no. Like, no. So now you don't want to buy this bag, Abby, because now you're earning. You see, you know the value of hard work. You don't want to spend.
Yeah, if you work 5 hours, you've actually put in 5 hours.
That's
right?
it.
Exactly, especially for jobs that are not like office jobs, right? For most of the factory jobs, for most of the hard work that we did back then as international students. If you're working in factory, if it's 8 hours, you're actually standing 7.5 hours.
100%.
Half hour break, right? 100%. You're putting in the time. So that money is actually earned, really earned. Right?
There's a possibility of people struggling with those dynamics. And if you have those kind of cracks from back home, fix them before you get on that plane. There are a lot of things people need to fix. And not just on the men alone. We need to talk to the women as well.
Women, true.
But
I think our next episode
we should get a perspective.
Topic, we'll definitely get the female perspective as well. Right. And see what changed for them. Right. How were they able to adjust from what they understood. Right. A lot of women actually want to be stay-at-home mom where they don't have to work. Right, and just really enjoy their husband's money. The environment doesn't favor that. Except, of course, your husband is maybe like a senior consultant or a doctor where he's earning over 200K or 250 or 300K per year. Right, then that way you know that you are well settled. Right, but if it's still that 100K range, there's still that you both of you have to get that support has to come for sure. So definitely, perhaps the next episode we should actually have
the perspective from married women as well. And you have to get your hands dirty with the kids.
You have to be present. You said something about the hospital the other time. I remember very well. Something for me happened was I was right by her, by her head, and the doctor said, "Come and look at it." No, I didn't actually. Did you?
I went.
Oh,
I saw everything. I saw everything.
I couldn't. I was like, You know
all
why?
three.
Because I didn't want to be scarred. Because I have a very
Visual person.
memory, and I will continue to remember that thing.
That thing, yeah.
I was like,
yeah.
you know what? No, I will just stay on this side and hold her hand and support her.
Support
But
her.
you're right. Like, one has to be very present, right?
100%,
Like,
100%.
like and especially in this part of the world where we don't have our family members, especially
That's
when
right.
you give birth, and perhaps maybe your mom's visa is not out yet, your mom's in-laws visa is not out yet, so it's just both of you, where you are both bathing the baby. There's not back home, like,
You get all the support.
You give birth and they're like 10 shoes in front of your house,
Yep.
because people have come to support you, people have come to greet, people have come to say hello. Here, once you are done at the hospital, doctor have, everybody are shaking your hands and that's it, right? So yeah, you have to be present. You have to learn how to change diapers. You have to be able to feed your baby, things like that. Stay awake, support. You even rotate. We even have to rotate where it's time for somebody to sleep. It's time for somebody to
You
take care of
just
the baby.
unlock the core memory, right? When we had our first child, it was through C-section, right?
Okay.
So we left the hospital, I think the following day.
Okay.
Because once you are certified fit to leave, you have to,
You
you just got to leave.
Yeah.
So we went back home, and I think I couldn't take time off work at that time.
And that happens a lot.
That happens a lot too. So when I came home, imagine someone who has never had a baby before. I just had a C-section. She's in chronic pain.
Oh my
She's
goodness.
on painkillers, heavy painkillers. The baby, I think we showered for the baby. We couldn't get anybody to come in to help. My mom's visa wasn't out, and I had to go to work. So now,
And it was physical work, not remote work.
not remote work. I had to go on site because I was
my
working on the fair
goodness.
payments machine. So I had to
Yeah.
go from site to site to load software and all of that. And I remember vividly that on the third day she couldn't get up because this session is actually an open. They cut you open, right, and then they stitch you back. So you're supposed to sit down here, and she would get up in pain to go shower. I'll help her shower sometimes, and then we'll try and figure out how to shower for the baby, while she's in pain. So the baby's crying, she's in pain. It's just me and her. We're calling home. Thank God WhatsApp could do WhatsApp videos.
You do
And we're watching video
and-
calls,
yeah.
and we're doing all of that. And I sat down one day, I looked at her, I said, I had this overwhelming sense of realization that, I got to be with this person. Like, this is my person. I have to be here for her. The love was very overwhelming because the pain was intense. I felt, I could feel it. The baby was crying nonstop. We're on the third day. No help.
No help.
Fortunately, I called one of my friends' mom was around. She came once.
Okay.
Big shout out to her. She came once and she helped wash the baby. The way she washed the baby was different from the way we washed it. Because when we looked at the water,
You
we
would typically handle the baby with care.
she
for
scrubbed
us, like,
everything.
we'll do
She
like
said,
this.
look at your child. Look at the
Oh my
water.
God.
She said, I just washed this child birth off of this child. Right? And then when she saw my wife and she said to my wife, because my wife could not stand up straight. She said, you bet immediately, as a mother, like, stand up straight so that your wound can heal when you're standing up straight. Like, don't bend. And then
So
she
you
helped
don't
us
remain
cope.
that way.
Exactly, right? And looking at that entire experience, you don't have a choice but to be better as a man.
True.
Right? You have to toss every preconceived notion of what you think that defines you as a man and put your family first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
And
I agree.
I remember one day I was in the subway walking and she just called me. She was crying. I'm like, what happened? She said she doesn't know. The baby hasn't stopped crying for like 3 hours. Like, she doesn't know what to do. Remember that basement I was staying? She was crying in there like the baby was purging and vomiting and doing. I said, just calm down, I'm coming home. I called my brother. I said, I'm going home.
Wow.
I can't, my mind state's not good. Once you mentioned
Definitely.
mind state, you're going home.
Yeah.
They'll let you go home. So I went home. And the way we used to do is, I used to do shift work.
Okay.
I'll leave 6 in the morning. I'll come back 4. So she's the baby till 4.
At 3.
Yeah, so then we drive home.
Yeah.
So when I get home at 4, I tell her immediately, go to
Go to
bed.
bed.
I'm like, with immediate effect, go to bed, turn off your phone and sleep. I'll be with the baby till like 3 in the morning. At 3 in the morning, the baby's sleeping on my chest because they like skin to skin. Then I'll bring the baby to her.
Okay.
I sleep for 3 hours to 6,
Wow.
get up, go again. So, I mean, if you think you're going to be a traditional man in that scenario, then you're punishing your
it will
spouse.
actually also be very unfair, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're leaving everything to one person, especially in a
Exactly.
society where there's no support,
Oh,
right? There's no family support and all that, right? I think for me, I was just lucky that I was able to take time off around that time. I think I took about 2 weeks, and then maybe it was the third week that my mom-in-law came,
All right.
right?
So you
And
got
then
support.
exactly,
Yeah,
you got support,
transition
and
that.
then months
Yeah,
later, my mom also came, right? So that support was actually, it's needed eventually,
100%,
right? But yeah,
100%.
when you start alone, you struggle, and at that point, you realize a lot of things, right?
Yep.
It's teamwork,
Oh yeah,
and
it's very life changing.
that person actually really needs your support at that point in time,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That's why I
Right?
said go into that delivery room. If you go into that delivery
Yeah,
room
it changes a lot of
and
things.
it doesn't change your mentality about how you treat your
It
wife,
changes a lot of
then you're
things. It
hardcore. You
changes a lot
need
of
to be
things.
locked up, and
Hardcore.
they'll give you.
Yeah, it
And
changes a lot of things.
it changes a lot of things there. So, what did you struggle with
What did I struggle with?
during this transition phase? Can we use the transition phase? Like, what did you
I
struggle
think
with?
honestly for me was really just the food thing, right? It was the food thing. Well, nothing much, right?
What about chores?
Chores.
Are there specific chores that you think your spouse should do that you don't want to touch? Like, I'll do everything else. Let her do that one.
No, so for me, I've aside from living in my own home, I've always also lived with other people.
Okay.
And living with other people entails that when you're living with somebody, they will throw many of the chores at you.
So you will do a
Especially in
lot more.
Nigeria,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
do a lot
yeah.
more. So I was already used to many chores, right? So I wasn't necessarily expecting, that when I get married, the person will be doing majority of the chores, right? And I'm married to somebody who's very outspoken as well, right? She'll sort of speak up and all that. So yeah, I don't think there was so much on my end I was expecting in terms of chores. It was just really the cooking where, like I said, I thought that, fresh food, but when I myself experienced it, I knew that, let's just scrap that. Let's cook what we can cook, put it in the fridge, and then let's just move on from there, right?
Fair point. I think I
Yeah.
struggled more with the being
Dishwasher.
told. Yeah. Not only that, being told what to do. I don't like being told what to do. It's just something that telling me what to do is let me do it at my own
will,
my own will.
time, yeah.
But the moment you tell me
It
to
becomes
do
an
it,
issue.
that's
Actually
when
that
it
kind
becomes.
of person, but not even necessarily from even Madame alone.
Yeah.
Even from people, right?
That's right.
If I know what, you don't need to tell me. I already know
Yo,
what to do.
if you tell me
Yeah.
that the trash is full, I know the trash is
That's
full.
full.
You tell me the trash is full, that means you don't want me to take it out. Because then I'll be like, how can you be telling me that the trash is full? Did I not see that the trash is full? I plan to take it out anyway. But now that you've told me, my ego. Now, what do you mean? And another thing that I do is that grace part. I just told my wife, listen, if you cannot cook other food, please order. This should be like on the weekend I want to cook. I'm like, can we order the food? I'll be telling you because me, I don't want when I want to now have what's our meet time. You know, I'm telling me you are tired, madam. Order the food. And then more recently we started getting house cleaners come and clean. We'll pay people to come and clean because I used to have to wash the whole washrooms, mop the floor on the weekend, then do the kids' laundry. By the time I'm like,
already tired.
Something you can do for $100.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll contribute the $100.
Somebody
Call
else
someone to
clean
come
it.
and do it so we can have time for our own selves because it's a lot of work, with the kids, out cooking and all that. Order food when you need to.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll be like, what do you want to have for lunch? I want to cook something. Why do you need to cook? Conserve your energy. With $15, I can get something to eat. I'll be good. If there's bagel in the fridge,
Yeah.
So that traditional man of, it's 2:00. Come and make amala for me. It's 9 time. Come and do jollof rice.
know.
Where is that's?
I wish there was a better way where we could get food without necessarily spending so much time to cook, right?
That's where this Uber Eats came into play now. That's why they came
it's
to
a lot
save
of money too,
Yeah,
but-
it is. It
but
is.
At the
it
same
is.
time, there's just so much time you have to spend to cook what you want.
For a little reward. The
Yeah,
reward doesn't
for-
even fit
yeah,
the amount
exactly.
of effort you
Yeah.
get. You spend minutes to cook fried jollof rice, and when you sit down to eat it, you're like, 4
Exactly.
hours of this
Yeah.
just to have this.
But I'm glad that there are a couple of I would say maybe new inventions where you find somebody creating some sort of powder or something in a sachet that
Swallow,
you
fill up your
Exactly.
hunger pangs, and you're
Yeah,
done.
exactly.
That would be great. That would be great. Yeah, I struggled with that. I struggled being told what to do. I struggled with don't spend. I don't like when people tell me not to spend.
In the early days, I did struggle with that as well. But when I started to see the reward of coming together to save, to get stuff, I was like, you know what? Let's just do this together. But definitely, I'm working for my money.
Why are you telling me not? God bless you. There was a time I got a consulting gig, and I was enjoying it. The money was good, right? And I just like buying. I just like to
take care
spoil
of
myself.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because before you know it, the kids need this, the kid needs that, and you're clearing the kid's cart, and then your sneakers is there in your shopping cart for like 6 months, and
there.
you've not even bought anything for yourself. So I'm like, I want to go out. I like to. It's been a while. I had some champagne. Can I go out and have some champagne, please?
Yeah.
And then you come back and say, no, you can't. We can't spend. We can't spend that money. We're chasing this. You're looking for trouble because my brain will just go, is it not my money? But it's our money, right?
Yeah.
So I struggled with that a lot. I struggled with being told not to spend money, struggled with being told what to do, and just being open, right? I grew up living by myself from a very early age. Started in apartments and living on my own, and then uni living on my own. Then came here living on my own. Now having to report to someone. Checking with someone every point of
felt like
the
reporting
day.
to somebody.
And I struggle with that too because I love my freedom. But then there's some things you have to sacrifice for your family to try.
Yeah,
So
for a better home, right?
for a better home, so you put that home first, put your kids first. Like I have to check in, plan my week. Okay, I have soccer this day. I have this. I have kids recital. Because
being transparent also with your communication and letting your spouse know the time, the timetable and things like that.
100%.
Yeah.
I see people, online, they go online and say, it's okay if you don't hear from your partner for a few hours or 2 days. You don't have to check in all this. I'm like,
wow, that's a lot.
Is that the new standard and you want to get married?
No.
When
I came here as an international student, my wife and I actually, and then she was my girlfriend, we communicated every day, every single day till she joined me after 2 years.
Oof.
Right? Either through phone call, text message,
that's your person. That's your personal person.
Every time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just hi. It was like,
detailed conversation.
What was going on, understood what was going on, right? So yeah.
Did anything change about you pre-Canada and post-Canada? The Tunde in Nigeria, and when she joined you, I will assume some things have changed in terms of your exposure, things that you're now, well versed in. Your mentality will have changed. Did you guys struggle with that, the new you, compared to who you were in Nigeria? I'll give some instance. My mentality, within a year that I moved here, I started arguing my wife a lot. We started arguing on the phone a lot.
Okay.
Because I'm like, why are you saying things like this? Because I've been exposed to Canada, so now I'm in the Western world. I'm like, why are you thinking like this? Why are you saying things like so? When she came, I still had that impression like, why are you thinking like this? Like, get with the program. Like, this is Canada. So do you think there was any, situations where you both struggled?
I think it was when she first came, right? So I was looking at my own situation and I expected her to also, just jump on the program. For instance, when I first came, I remember when the man that helped me with my admission called me, right? He called me and I think the next day I was in bed. I was sleeping, and then I picked up the phone and I said, "Good morning." I said, Tunde, are you sleeping? I said, "Yes." Like you should have gone to start work.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it was that same week as an international, so I was able to get a part-time job. Right? We have 20 hours to work and whatnot. Right? But for her, when she came, it wasn't like that as well. Like she didn't come and just start work immediately as an international.
Yeah.
Yo, like, you understand?
Oh,
like,
I get you.
You have to also get
into the program
as an international student. Yeah, so, that job aspect where I expected, I started working immediately based on the hours I was entitled to. I was also expecting that from myself. So that sort of, caused that early, fiction where I was just like, hey, you have to
get in that space. Go look for a job.
You understand? Like, get in line. Like, get along with the program where international students come, you look for a part-time job, and then we just both support the home. Right. So, but other than that, there wasn't so much. Really.
Along the lines of what you mentioned, because my wife came on a work permit.
Okay.
So
that's even better.
That's even better. Yeah. Oh Lord, she came on a work permit. So when she arrived, after the first week, the second week, I'm like, hello, it's time. Let's start jump on. She's like, no. I said, no time. No chilling, and I remember one day, I sent her, because I was living in Scarborough, so I sent her to a Guardian store on Morningside and elsewhere. And she was like, wait, what am I taking a taxi? I'm like, no, you're getting on the bus.
Taxi?
It's like, taxi, how? It's like, well, can't you drive? I said, if I continue to drive you, you will not, be adventurous to do things yourself. I said, okay, bye. So she went. She got there easily, trying to come back. You know how our maps are. If you don't know the specific place to stay for the bus, the one that's going or the one that's returning on the same road,
or you miss the exact bus.
So she was on the phone with me. I said, listen, just cross to the right. So she crossed to the left. It's still the 86 bus, but she took the B. She took the B. It's B, which means it will go another route. So she was just going. I'm like, where is this woman? Should have been here by now. I said, well, I said, which bus stop can you see next? I said, oh, she was in something called Ajin Court. I'm like, you are going definitely in the wrong direction. And it was like, I think February, cold. And then she started crying. I said, don't stress that you're crying. I have cried it. So now, cross to the other side. Let's do this together, because now you've learned how to do things. And then the job part, the second week, we were applying for jobs. And she got a job on her day. Funny. So she got a job. She went for the training. They paid her. It was a paid training.
Nice.
For the day to resume, where you're supposed to now resume, she just chickened out.
Are you
I'm telling you, it was a call center job. They've loaded them with so much information
and resources.
She's been trying to tell me all we're doing the training that she can't do this job, but because she didn't want to disappoint me, right? She wanted to get in that space. And then I'm like, I understand. Like, you can always talk to me. I understand.
Exactly.
I said, well, you finally got this job and all of that. Like, wait, do you want to go? She said, and I said, fine, stay home. Right. I was willing to negotiate that, because at that time my income could take care of things. Yeah. But on the second one, I said, Madam, you see this one that you are going, you have to do this one. And she was able to get into the mix of things pretty early, because I felt like we needed to get started on some certain things we needed to do. Yeah. And if I don't try into the deep end, she would probably sink. So I want that Nigerian mentality of swim, don't sink.
Exactly.
It needs to kick in. Yeah. Like, don't think it's rosy here. It's not a joke. It's and then I think she applauds me for that, for like pushing her out there. Yeah. Getting her hands wet and all of that. So
my wife, actually, for her to same thing, where the kind of job, right, I had to let her understand that, for us back then, many internationals when we came, we even worked in harsher conditions. You talked about working in the car factory. I also did part of that as well, working in Toyota, where we would clean the robots that assemble the cars.
Ooh, Lord have mercy.
Did the sausage thing and all that. I'm like, you guys are having it easy. Like, you're
call
getting
center. You're getting call center jobs.
Like, you're getting, working in concession, working in Tim Hortons.
That's not labor. We call it manual labor here.
Do you understand?
Labor, general labor.
For us, we went through the hard way, right? And thankfully, she was able to get a job that also, was similar and, sort of just came with its own perks as well. And, we really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Those were the early days experience. I mean, we're grateful for let's talk about conflict management, knowing that we've left our comfort zone where we've got community, right? To, for example, help with the child. Yep. But now look at it from the perspective of you're far away from family and relatives that could possibly intervene in the events of, conflict. Where, you can easily, go to a father's house and say, well, talk to your daughter, like, what's going on here? But here it's just you. Right, just the person that pissed you off in the morning is the person that you go together, right there, like that, And personally for me, it was more of, I've known you like all my life, but I think I don't know you enough now that we're living together. Like, I mean, we did have a little bit of we did cohabitation. Yeah, cohabitation in uni, but that was the dynamics of dating. For marriage, where they know they're not going anywhere. And we'll argue in the morning, and I'll be looking at her like, what do we even do now? Like, what who's going to resolve? Who's going to apologize first, right? And there's nobody to call.
And then when you are doing something, you are using side eye.
Because I'm someone that I'm very easy to bribe. Oh, yeah. I'm very easy to just cook my favorite food. We'll start talking, and when I don't see the favorite food coming, I'm like, oh, this is a serious argument.
Right? So you have to find a way to resolve it.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's any conflict management skills that you had to deploy.
Yeah. I think for me, so my background is human resources, right? And there was something they taught us very well in HR is conflict management. Right. They taught us different strategies of conflict management. There's win-win where the other person wins, or there's win-lose where one person wins, one person loses, and I think there's a third one that I can't remember now. But those kind of things, not that I brought it into the marriage, but I already had an idea of what conflict resolution was. Right. But then again, we are in a society where you don't have a family member that you can quickly go to their house.
Yeah.
You can't go, like you rightly say, you can't go and report to anybody. Like both of you are under the same roof.
That's
and
right.
COVID actually even showed, I heard,
Fun times.
I'm not sure, but I heard that the divorce rate during COVID statistics was
Spike,
higher.
yeah.
Because people were now know each other more.
Yeah, had to be in the same space with your spouse for long hours.
There was no, I'm going to work and you come back at night. You're like, is this the person I'm married to? For the first time, maybe you realize that.
Them,
exactly. And a lot of that happened. But again, it's about the conflict resolution in terms of not being able to resolve conflict. Trust me, they've been hard times, right? But it's about that communication. And what I always tell people is, we still said it earlier today about marrying your friend.
That's right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, love can, sort of diminish, and things like that.
Love is not enough.
Thank you. And it's not like it's not there, but that friendship is very needed. Where you're like, Shego, what's wrong with you? Like, okay, let's talk. And then you gradually iron it out. And then as long as both of you are able to see from each other's perspective and able to know, we're talking about it the other time as well, and able to know what triggers the other person, right? For me now, like, there was something I didn't like before, but now, like, my wife already knows me for who I am. So I'm this kind of person where I'm not an introvert and I'm also not an extrovert. And I'm not the kind of person that I talk to my family every day. You see, there are some people that you meet them and they're like, I did 2 hours with my brother yesterday. I did 1 hour with my sister yesterday. I'm like, yo,
you talk every day?
Every day. I'm not that kind of person.
Same.
Right? For me, it's like, when it's the time for us to talk, we'll sit down, we'll talk.
You deliberate,
right? But for her also, it's different because she comes from a family where they talk
close
like
knit,
almost, you understand? And I'm from a big family. I'm the last of, 6 kids, right? So how many of them do I want to be talking with every day?
Every day.
Do you understand? So that was also different for her. And then she does something where you don't even talk to your family. I'm like, is my family complaining to you? Do you understand? Is my family complaining to you that I don't talk to them? Right? That my own dynamics is different from yours. And those are the kind of things that I would say early on. I really didn't like it, but when she also understood later on that, okay, you know what, is a different kind of perspective that we are coming together. So you don't have to try to change that person, right? You just have to understand and see how can we make it better, right? Is this something you actually want to make better?
Right.
That's another conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Is this something you want to make better, or is this something you just want to leave as is? Right.
100%. I think let me tap into what you just said, because my wife can be on the phone for hours with her siblings, and all of that. And when I call my brother, this is the information that you need to hear. These are the things that I need to hear. We'll talk. But recently, I think I read something online that I don't have a lot of hours to spend with all these people that I claim to love. So now I started talking to my brother a lot more, because we're 3. I started talking to my brother a lot more, and he broke down recently and then just started saying some things. And I'm like, because our previous conversations were kind of like surface level. I haven't seen him in a long time. He kind of raised me, but we were both rebellious. So we started talking, and then he had a very vulnerable moment that made me realize that, wow, I'm not as close to my brother as I thought I was. Like, this is a very vulnerable moment for both of us, because we were sharing some of the traumatic experiences. And I said to myself that I will talk to this guy almost every day. Like, I don't have a lot of time to spend with him, because we're not in the same country and all of that. So I started doing that. And my wife was like, who are you talking to in the basement?
Wow.
I said, Tayo. For that long. I
said,
yeah. I said, oh, that's interesting. And I'm trying to put in, but she didn't try to change me.
And that's what I also respected, right? And at first, for sure, it was a conversation. It seemed as though, right? But then, when we understood that, okay, you know what, give it time. And thankfully, it's better now. But yeah, exactly like you said, like, you get there, right?
100%.
It took sort of a vulnerable moment
for me to,
exactly,
100%.
for the other party.
And for the conflict management part, I go to my wife's father.
Oh, okay.
I don't waste time.
Okay.
I don't waste time. Because what that I would do is, if we raise our voice at each other, which I hate, is once it's escalating to that point, because I'm a very stubborn Ondo man.
Okay.
You're not getting the
I'm
upper
also an
voice.
Ondo guy.
Yeah. if you make us argue, you're not winning.
Yeah, we are very stubborn. Ondo people are very stubborn.
Very
I don't know
stubborn.
why.
We
but
want
Ondo
to have the
people
last
are
word.
very
I am
stubborn.
having the last word.
Yeah.
Not because I don't think I've lost the battle, but I feel like my ego will not allow me lose.
Yeah.
So I will keep talking. So when it gets out of, I just pick up the phone. I will skip the mom. I'll go straight to the father. Your daughter has started because she respects the father. All right, and then the father will check her. Okay, we've got someone. When they check her and she start mumbling, and then I will just go, it's you too. Why are you too stubborn? And then we joke about it, and that kind of like resolves a lot. But I don't go to my family.
Okay.
I don't report my wife to my. I don't.
Exactly.
I don't do that, and I protect her from that noise.
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm sorry to say, but that's the third party that they warned us about, right?
Yeah. I don't.
Ensuring that it's not like you're not reporting to a friend or an outsider, and not to say our own family members are not outsiders, but it's like I'm telling your family, and they will be able to better speak to you to
check you. Yeah.
If I tell my family, they will definitely take my own side.
They will judge you and criticize you, and they will put you in a certain light. I want somebody who will take
your side, but they will always also tell you the truth.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Right. Like my mother-in-law stays with us, and I think it's the most well-behaved I've been. So my mother-in-law stays with us.
Me too.
I am not saying a pimp. I'm a proper husband.
Good boy.
You're not catching me slacking. Because you have to maintain that image. And when we want to argue, we lock the doors. We go into the basement, away from the kids, and then we have those arguments. And like, see, let me tell you something. We're not arguing to win. One thing about me is, if this argument doesn't bring money, don't let us waste time arguing this thing, because we don't. Where's the money? Money is the driving force. So when we are deep into it, I'm like, babe, what does it bring money? This argument, we're wasting time. We don't even have the money, just arguing. And
I think there's something we immigrants are also not exploring, which is the idea of married people seeking counseling for conflict resolution, right?
Counseling and therapy as a whole, I don't think we're open to it.
You understand? And I feel there are ways we could benefit from it, right? So I feel like if the conflict has gotten to a point where both of you, it's even beyond resolution or beyond any family members.
You need intervention at that
time. I think, it's always important to just seek that professional help, where somebody who's either a marriage counselor, who can, sort of understand both perspectives, although they can be expensive, right? Because you have to pay consulting fees, you have to pay by the hour.
You'll be surprised that your a lot of work insurance actually cover therapy.
True,
exactly. But people don't know.
Exactly. And then some of the social services as well for newcomers also provide such services. It's it will be good for
can you visualize sitting in front of a therapist and talking about your life?
I would like to experience it, but it's just that I feel it takes me to another dimension, right? And so why most people don't do it is that vulnerability.
Oh yeah.
Right? I know that's another thing my wife used to struggle with a lot when we first started, that you are not vulnerable with me. Right? So
preach.
It's like you're
preaching to the there's a brick right there.
So she's like, you're not vulnerable with me. And I think for many who do not go that route, is like they don't want to really, there are some parts that you sort of blocked out. And if you go sit down with somebody on the couch, you have to really peel and show
lots of layers down there.
Lots of layers, right?
I think now that you've mentioned it, I do see value in having those kind of honest conversations about ourselves, uncovering those layers, those foundations. So there are things that are inbuilt to us that, even though we've changed, we've not addressed them.
True.
We only buried them.
True.
And you don't know when you'll be triggered to actually explode. So I think as part of my personal development, even as a husband, I would like to sit with a therapist. There are things that I think I need to address. The first step in change is acknowledging that you need something needs to change. Yeah. Acknowledgement. So there are my temper.
I'm better now.
Are you?
Honestly, I am. Life has humbled me, life will humble you, right?
I think for me, it's because I was independent from a very early age, and I had access to money at a very early age. That independence felt like you can't talk to me, because at the end of the day, it's my own leadership. I pay for the consequences of my actions. I've never lived on anybody's roof for a long time. I started like renting and doing things on my own from very early. So it's easy for people to easily get pissed off, like, who are you? Why are you talking to me? Who are you? Who are you to be talking to me like this? So my temper would just go from 0 to 100, like, get the fuck out of here. Like, who the fuck? You that kind of thing. So it's something that I need to sit down and uncover that to a therapist and say, listen, this exists. What are the reasons why this thing exists? Let's start looking at why, you need to diffuse. And fortunately for me, my kids have made me very vulnerable. That's, my wife couldn't get to those layers, but my kids, I am very soft. They help me understand that I skipped out on my childhood. Like looking at them grow and seeing the fun they're having and the things that I didn't have. I did not have the toys that they have, the unique family moments.
The involvement you are also part of that you probably didn't enjoy as well.
I make sure I try to outdo my wife with the time that I spend with my kids. Like taking them to dance class. I keep telling my wife, all this memory that I'm archiving is for when I'm old. And then I can start replaying them in my head. Oh, I know when Bella went to dance class, learned how to swim. And sometimes she'll be like, you want to take me down? I'm like, I'll go. Do that. It's from my own memories because I'm trying to make sure that, not necessarily that they're reliving my childhood that I didn't have, but I'm giving them unique experiences that when they replay the movie, they'll say, Daddy, this is the standard of love we got from Dad, right? And Mom, Dad was present, right? So I try to be very vulnerable with them. That way I can now look at life from their lens, like, I shouldn't be this hard. Because I was at age 12, I told you when I first had my alcohol, I drank alcohol very early. I shouldn't have gone through those things. I started hardening up because life was hardening me up. So I went from boy, no teenager, boy to man. So now, looking at how they are growing, I'm like, wow, look at how peaceful kids are. Look at how carefree they are about life. Look at how much they laugh. They laugh more than I do as an adult. Like, these kids are laughing all day. I've not smiled all day. I'm looking at the computer screen and someone is sending me an email and a Jira ticket and I'm like, fuck are you? I'm typing those emails like, did you not see my last email? As per my last email, you should know that this has not moved. And then my kids come home from school and I'm like, Daddy, why are you squeezing your face? I'm like, take off that layer. And then, it's kids' time. Like, shut that down. So that's one uncovering that I'm doing. I think as men, we need to, it's good that you throw in counseling there. It would really, really help us men. Definitely. To uncover a lot of things. What are the benefits? Benefits of the modern shift from the traditional to being...
I think one of the key benefits is what you just mentioned. Being involved.
100%.
Right? 100%. This is not go meet your mom, anything, go get that, and you are not involved. It's like you go out and from work, you go have drinks, then you come back home, then you do that all again. And then perhaps at the end of the term, they tell you, oh, your son did this or your daughter did this, and you were not even aware. You understand? This is the benefit where you get to be involved. You are present from, cradle to how they are growing and everything. To even sports that they learn at an early age and all that, all the extracurricular activities. You are actually present there, which is very important. So I think that's one key benefit that I find in the quote unquote modern man.
The modern man,
right? And also the aspect of where the ego is not necessarily there, right? Trust me, as I am, I'm okay to be a house husband. You understand? Like,
if for any reason my wife can pay, bruh,
you understand? Like, I am okay.
I'll tie her up herself.
Do you understand?
What are you talking about, bruh?
I'll take care of the kids. I will watch Netflix. I have been
tired since.
Do you understand?
I wake up tired. I've been tired since I was 10. So if you call me and say, babe, I'm making 500K, I'll say, yes, ma.
I'll say, God bless you.
Good morning, ma. I'll wake you up with tea. I'll wake you up with tea in the morning. You have breakfast in bed. I will shower for you, dress you up, and drop you at the office and come back. Call you, what do you want for lunch and dinner? What are you saying? Exactly. I'm tired, bro. Like, there's no ego here. I am exhausted.
Exactly. So I think that's, another key benefit. And it's also the close-knit that it brings. Where everything is partnership, everything is working together. You're practically building something here, right? And you're coming together to do that hand in hand, supporting each other, without necessarily trying to say, okay, like you don't amount to anything. I'm the one that is doing
Calling the
everything
shots,
here,
yeah.
and I call the shots, and whatever I say, you have to listen to it, right? So, all that is just not there. So I feel those are some of the benefits that I see. And it also helps to, resolve resolution quickly. Honestly, that's another thing as well. Yeah.
100%, 100%. Just to add to what you just said, and then seeing people live out their dreams while not being barricaded by raising a family, especially women. I think I take pride in the fact that my wife is a career woman. I brag about it, right? Because now I'm watching her build her own dreams.
Our own dreams.
She's making her own money. She's
Nice.
advancing. Like, I'm seeing her wins,
Nice.
right? Not just someone who sits at home and takes care of the kid. The fact that she's an individual that contributes to society and actually working on her own self, that gives me a sense of pride, right? They say your woman is an extension of yourself. So if you go there, parade yourself as the next best thing, and they look at your wife, it's not reflective of who you are.
True.
It means you're not putting in the work into her as well. You're not pouring
Yeah.
into her. So, I'm actively involved so that she can live out her own dreams, do things that she wants to do. There are things where I tell her, like, hey, do you want to learn how to swim this summer? Like,
Nice.
get out of the house. I'm like, take a break. Go somewhere. You want to lodge in a hotel?
Go do something.
Go do something. Because me, you won't get in my own way.
I will do my own.
I will do.
Fine,
Yo, I
fine.
tell you, I have to go play soccer.
Tuesday,
Soccer
we go play
is.
soccer.
I play
Yes.
on Tuesday, Saturday. Don't say because you didn't do anything all weekend. That's
So
it's
I
my
can't
turn.
do-
I
no,
can't
no,
do.
no,
No, babe.
yeah. Go
Call
do
your
stuff.
friends.
Yeah.
Go shop.
Yeah.
Go do your nails. Go get a massage. Leave the house. Because when it's time for me to leave the
I
house,
will leave the house.
go downtown and have a party. I will go downtown and have a party and all of those things. So just being able to let her live out her dreams. Don't check what she's doing because you trust that she's doing it well.
Yeah.
Right, as a mother and as a wife, those are some of the key benefits as well. And then aligning on the same vision that we want this home
To work.
to work.
To work. Yeah.
That's one of the benefits as well.
And we have to give shout outs to our wives, right?
Big shout out to our wives for sticking through with us. We know we have our shortcomings, and you guys are very tolerant of us. Big shout out to you for understanding the transition as well, giving us the grace to actually shift, and putting the family first and supporting us. We love you. We're stubborn, domain, right? We're a little bit stubborn, right? But we still love you. So big shout out to our wives. To the big shout out to them.
Big shout out to our wives. Can we mention names?
Tell me. Big shout out to Abby.
Yes. We know like you said, we have our shortcomings and all that. We can be very stubborn, but we've tried to unlearn many things, right?
That's
and
right.
Thankful for the mom, being the mom of our kids, and ensuring that we hold the home together. And there's been that partnership, that support. Super proud of my wife for sure, of how far she's come. We do a lot of things together, so that is also I'm thankful to see all that. And one thing, let me share one thing. When we were back in Nigeria, the first ever seminar I went to in Lagos, she paid for it, right?
Big shout out to Temi.
I said I like this seminar and all that, and she did pay for it for me to go attend. So, and those are the kind of things we're talking about, like those partnerships where you can even support each other.
That's right.
You see that this person likes this thing. How are you supporting them to actually achieve
those
thing,
dreams,
rather than telling them they are not enough or you can't do it? Like what are you trying to do it for? Are you trying to show me that there's no need for all that? Like support your partner, right?
I agree. Big shout out to them. I get what you mean. That's why I said about the vision. The vision is for the family to thrive.
Exactly.
And for the family to thrive, both parties need to thrive as well.
Exactly.
So supporting each other and making sure team will. What is about teamwork makes what work? The dream work. Yeah, that's the same. Big shout out to our producers as well, chiming in there. But great conversation. It's a lot to unpack.
A lot.
Yeah. If you're coming with your family, moving to Canada, have these honest conversations, be vulnerable.
Canada, UK, America, wherever
it will test your marriage.
Exactly.
It will test your marriage as an immigrant because the new rules, the environment is different.
It's different.
North America favors the women, but that doesn't mean they need to weaponize that against the men. They have to come and create a collaborative front for the family to succeed. And then the man as well needs to understand that, okay, he needs to unpack, unlearn, and relearn, because then you have to learn new things. And then the wife needs to give the grace for the man to be able to go through that transition as well, and the work together to achieve that goes. But
And vice
overall,
versa too. The man also needs to give the woman the grace to also learn
to
and
learn,
unlearn some things
absolutely,
as
vice
well.
versa
Yeah.
as well. And yeah, you have a united home front. So have those discussions. We're saying it now because we don't want to hear
Yeah.
stories. The touch. I came to Canada. My husband has changed. My wife has changed. We're filing for a divorce. Except domestic violence
Of course.
and threat to
Yeah.
life. Yeah,
Yes.
but
Definitely.
I think before you go down that route, get counseling. Big shout out to the man. If you're thinking counseling is to how will I say, to what? What's the word I'm looking for here? But it's very valuable.
Yeah.
I'm looking to get into the therapy seat and you know unravel some demons. We need to confront some demons there.
And it turns to get out.
Maybe there's some exorcism that needs to happen to cast away these demons and let some light in, because
Yeah.
But overall, great conversation
Great
today.
conversation. Thank you, Femi.
It's good to learn from you and listen to your experiences
Yeah.
as well.
Same here.
And
Same
to our
here.
viewers, you know where to find us on
And
social media.
And listeners.
Our listeners, wherever you get your podcasts from, you can also stream episodes on YouTube, on Spotify,
Yeah.
and I think Apple Podcasts as well. And then follow us on social media at NTWAH Podcast, on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter as well. And also check out our website, Now That We're Here, podcast.com. I go by the name FemiShine, and in the house with me, of course, the world famous drumroll TundeTASH.
Yeah, thank you everyone for joining. This has been, very great. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. We're happy that you're able to join us, and we hope you learned one or two things. But thank you, Femi, and thanks to everyone for having us.
Cheers.